Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas here in the Action News 5 digital desk. It is bright and early on a Wednesday morning. It is 7 o'clock, and you can see a little bit of fog out there as we take a live look from our High 5 camera in Midtown Memphis, where it is a comfortable 64 degrees. You really can't see that much fog from our downtown High 5 camera. But let's bring in meteorologist Patrick Ellis, where he has got the fog there. Believe that's in East Memphis, right, Patrick? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Yes, that's a look from our Clark Tower High 5 camera. This is actually an improvement than what it was maybe about an hour ago, where we really couldn't see even Poplar Avenue this morning. But again, we're starting to see some improvements, but it's going to take a little bit of time here. That's where we start off the morning, but it's not like this in every location across the Mid-South. Actually, some spots starting off with a little bit of clearing here to start off the day. You got 59 in Hayti, 61 Covington, as well as Bolivar, 64 in Olive Branch in Memphis, same in Oxford, Mississippi, 65 in Clarksdale, 64 Mariana, 63 West Memphis here to start off the day. We've got our frontal boundary to start off the morning hours still hanging out south of the city of Memphis, but it will act as a conduit as it starts to lift a little farther to the north as we go through the course of the day to see some opportunities of rain. Mostly these showers will start to lift northward and will allow for a little better chance for a few showers to develop later on today. But before that happens, the moisture is obviously already in place. Zones of dense fog have developed across West Tennessee this morning along the I-40 corridor, Highway 64, Tennessee Highway 19, U.S. Highway 51, U.S. Highway 412, all dealing with issues of fog this morning. Even along U.S. Highway 72 and I-22 this morning, you're going to see some zones of fog that are going to be quite dense. So again, that's what we're dealing with, at least for now. I think by about 9:30, we'll start to see more improvements here across the Mid-South. A mixture of clouds and sunshine. Otherwise, temperatures continue their upward trend towards the lower 80s later on today, upper 70s and low 80s. A southeasterly wind coming in around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and that comes direct off the Gulf, and that's helping to facilitate the moisture coming up and over that boundary, which is still going to be hanging around to the south of us here today. It starts to lift northward through the course of tonight into tomorrow and also for your Friday, kicking up some better chances for some rain and storms. Today, it's not zero, but I think that's a little bit more paltry comparatively to your Thursday and Friday. But you'll see on the First Alert Futurecast that some spots may see a little bit more in the way of activity today comparatively to others. Here's a look at our First Alert Futurecast. And again, I think North Mississippi, better chances of rain, about a 30% opportunity during the course of the afternoon hours, but all the way up to about the I-40 corridor, at least an opportunity for seeing some rain and storms. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s and lower 80s this afternoon with some sunshine coming and going. So it's not going to be all clouds today, but there will be some periods of sunshine to come out similar to what we saw yesterday across the Mid-South. Any showers and storms that are able to flare up, fall apart after sunset, lather, rinse, repeat. That's going to be the story here the next couple of days, because guess what? Some zones of fog again tomorrow morning. Mixture of clouds and sunshine, and as we get through the peak heating of the day, we start to bubble up the atmosphere once again. So afternoon and evening hours of your Thursday, more scattered activity of showers and rumbles of thunder coming in our direction, tapering off as we head past sunset, and then we'll do the whole process over again through your day on Friday. That boundary continues to sluggishly work its way towards the north. More scattered activity of showers and storms, a better chance throughout the course of your day on Friday. I think there will be not just one wave, it'll be two waves to contend with on Friday. It's starting to taper off as we head through the evening hours. So if you've got evening plans, depending on where you are, the rain chances may still linger in your area for a little bit longer. The weekend will also feature a few shower and storm opportunities, both Saturday and Sunday. Will it be a washout? More than likely not. But will you have to tangle with more clouds and opportunities for rain? Yeah, it's a possibility. I think Saturday morning should be generally dry, but we could see a few downpours by the afternoon. And the same thing on Sunday as a warm front starts to lift across the area. And that warm front actually will be the facilitator for a big surge of warmth that will take us into the early portions of next week. You can see how warm we'll get in your neighborhood on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. There's a look at the extended forecast for today. 82, the high temperature for today across the Mid-South. Again, morning clouds and fog. We'll still see some sunshine breaks through the afternoon hours for today. Not a bad looking day once we get past the fog. And for some, yeah, you might have to deploy the umbrellas. I think more folks will have to deploy umbrellas going into Thursday and Friday. Speaking of Friday, the beginning of the double-decker Arts Festival happening Oxford, Mississippi, 2-day festival. And I wish I could tell my friends in Oxford that's going to be dry the entire time. But this year, looking that Friday looks to be a little bit on the wetter side. Of course, things kind of kick off during the afternoon hours to go through the evening, but you notice the coverage of rain tapering off after sunset. That's the going trend here through the course of your Friday. But again, better chances for scattered downpours in the very least on Friday afternoon. Again, the coverage will taper off as we head through the early evening hours. Then on Saturday, we'll hop into Memphis and look at the World Championship World Wing Festival happening in downtown off of Riverside Drive at River Garden Park. Temperatures will be in the 70s throughout. Morning clouds. There could still be a few lingering showers. The reason why probably a little drier here in Memphis, that northeasterly wind that will come in here, that usually is a drier wind for us, so it'll keep the rain chances at bay. We go into Sunday and the winds will snap around more towards the south, and that will help to bolster up the warmth, the mugginess, and even a chance for a few showers as well as we look ahead to the Raging Cajun Crawfish Fest. I know, Andrew, you've got an interview coming up talking about this great event coming up on Saturday, and we're hopeful that the weather will hold out for it coming up on Sunday. It'll get quite warm, though, on Monday and Tuesday. Rain chances go down. The heat cranks up. We're talking middle and upper 80s come Monday and Tuesday. Give you a first alert to some opportunities for rain to round out Wednesday, Thursday. That will be rounding out the month of April heading into May. And the first day of River Beat next Friday, hopefully looking drier. Put the rain chance about 20% right now, but still a little iffiness in that longer range as we head towards that time frame. But it does look like at least the temperatures come down a little bit. So we'll be talking upper 80s. We'll talk upper 70s, which is a little closer to average for the beginning of May.
Yeah, I would think that, now it's like all about the weekends and what the forecast is going to be. And so far, the next couple of weekends, Saturday, Sunday, I mean, for the most part, they look pretty clear, right?
I don't say clear, because again, you're still going to have to tangle with a couple of showers. I don't think it's going to be super invasive. You just got to keep an eye to the sky, because there could be a shower that comes across your area. Remember, we cover a lot of areas, so again, that 30% is going to cover, from Pemiscot County, Missouri, all the way down to Lafayette County, Mississippi, eastbound and westbound. So, we've got a lot going on here the next couple of days. I'm trying to give you some hope in the forecast in some instances, but I think the weekend forecast, as a general rule, yeah, you might have to tangle with the shower, but it won't be all weekend long where rain is going to be the issue. I don't even think here Thursday and Friday that's an all-day rain situation in every single location. You might get a downpour on Thursday by afternoon, early evening hours, and then it's quiet for much of the overnight period outside of maybe a few downpours early, and then you pick it back up again for some on Friday morning. Another wave comes in Friday afternoon, and then we get into the point where the front kind of sags back down to the south briefly on Saturday, pops north through Sunday, and that's what keeps our weather a little uncertain there. And then it's just going to be the heat and the warm winds blowing in off the Gulf Monday and Tuesday. Again, middle and upper 80s coming up there. Not record setter, but not far off. Usually our records are in the upper 80s and low 90s this time of the year. And notice, again, we have another system that is on its heels Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully, and again, hopefully we can get that done and out of here in time for River Beat that kicks off Friday afternoon in downtown Memphis. That will be a big event for a lot of folks, of course, coming into town to see all the acts who will be in town. Thinking it's like, I'm not going to say that I got my ticket, but I got to go see Missy Elliott. I got to go experience that. I have not been able to experience that. I'm getting that chance. Hopefully Friday night without any rain next week, about 10 days from now.
All right, meteorologist Patrick Ellis giving us the deep dive on the forecast. Thank you, Patrick.
No problem.
Yeah, another live look from our High 5 camera here. As you can see in Midtown Memphis, some fog out there. It is 64 degrees, very comfortable. We'll be talking about the forecast, including not only today, this weekend, but for the next several days, as you can see, all morning long on the Action News 5 digital desk. Okay, one of the top stories we were following at this hour was the violent last 24 hours, particularly in the North Memphis community of Frazier. Action News 5's Tavarius Haywood has an update on the investigations.
Good morning, y'all. The shootings here in Frazier, happened between hours of each other. The first shooting happened off of, two people were killed on Cleover Street, another person killed at the McDonald's on Thomas, and a woman was also hurt in a shooting outside the Kroger on Frazier and the Range Line. MPD says they haven't made any arrests in any of those shootings, and They have limited suspect information at this time. Now, when releasing the information, MPD reiterated the statement made by Memphis Mayor Paul Young about gun violence, saying enough is enough. In his weekly newsletter, he addressed recent crime-fighting tactics like the installation of hundreds of AI traffic cameras at busy intersections. Now, despite yesterday's deadly violence, he and other leaders across the city and county continue to note a downward trend in violent crime. The Memphis-Shelby County Crime Commission reports a nearly 4% decrease in major violent crime between last year and 2023. As for those shooting and investigations throughout the city, MPD is asking for any information. You can help by calling 528-CASH. Tavarius Haywood, Action News 5.
Okay, that was Tavarius Haywood for us there, and certainly we have a busy and ambitious schedule, as I mentioned before, here on the Action News 5 digital desk. We're going to be talking about the Ragin' Cajun Crawfish Festival coming back to Memphis this Sunday. That interview is scheduled for 8:15. At 8:45, we're going to be talking to the Peabody Duckmaster. He's not only very well known across Memphis and the Mid-South, but he's going to be featured in a new film that was shot here in Memphis. We'll be talking to him about that. We got a founding member of the Commodores coming on the Action News 5 digital desk as the band gets ready to play here in the Mid-South. And we're talking about the Memphis Greek Festival just a few weeks away. All the sights, the sounds, the music, the food, that's coming later next month. But first, I want to get to one of our top stories that Action News 5's Doc Holliday has for us. He's in Oklahoma City covering the Grizzlies that had a rough go at it once again last night. It was better than the game one, but still a loss in game two. Doc Holliday has more.
Hi, how are you? Doc Holliday. Game two for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Oklahoma City Thunder, ending like game one did, although the Beale Street Bears losing game two better than they did in game one, but nevertheless, they still lose. The Grizzlies losing by 51 in the first game of this first round Western Conference playoff series, and they lose in the second game 118-99. Jaren Jackson Jr. playing a lot better than he did in game one. Jaren with just 4 points, 3 rebounds in game one. Game two comes out 26 points, being extremely aggressive. Ja Morant had a not typical Ja Morant game, but he still played pretty good. Desmond Bane did what he does, trying to be solid. But sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, some teams are just better than us. And right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder is better than us. Grizzlies.
Ja, what is it about this team? It just seems like they're just so tough to beat.
I don't know. They make shots, play well together.
What you think you all need to do? You know, count it, because there's 6 games in now. We got 2 more games.
Play defense, take care of the ball, and make shots.
Well, the message to the team was very short. You know, let's get on the plane as soon as possible, and they took care of their business. Now it's time for us to take care of our business at home.
Well, the Beale Street Bears and the Oklahoma City Thunder tipping off at game 3 at FedEx Forum. 8:30 tomorrow. The Beale Street Bears trying to get back into this series, and a win tomorrow will help them get back in this series. But it's going to be tough because so far through 6 games this season, the Grizzlies 0-6 against the Thunder. But they live to fight another day, and another day is tomorrow, starting at 8:30. In Oklahoma City with Adam Chrysler, Doc Holliday, Action News 5 Sports.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I wanted to show you a new event that's coming to the town of Collierville. We're talking about Collierville's Americana Showcase. This is happening April 25th and 26th at Collierville's historic town square. All kinds of live music, food, spirit in the Sounds Like Collierville Americana Showcase. Joining me now to talk about this, Ashley Carver. She is tourism director for the town. Ashley, good morning to you. So tell me about this. This is the first of its kind, right? The inaugural festival, the Americana Showcase. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell me about it.
Yep. So this is a free, family-friendly music event taking place on Town Square next Friday and Saturday. We're bringing in great musicians from Nashville, but also Memphis-based artists who will be, exploring bluegrass music and Americana music on Collierville Town Square.
Okay, so give me the idea behind this festival, because I know this is the first ever festival like this in Collierville. Give me the ideas behind it.
Yeah, so we really wanted to showcase the incredible music tradition that we have on Town Square. You know, music is what makes Town Square the heart of our community. At the turn of the 20th century, W.C. Handy was coming out and playing Memphis blues on our square. In June and July, we have the summer concert series. And on Friday nights, April to October, anyone can experience this bluegrass jam on Town Square. We have one of the longest running jams in the region. We have artists coming from Jackson, Tennessee, North Mississippi, even students from Midtown coming out to jam. And so we really wanted to highlight the incredible music tradition and history that we have on our Town Square.
That's fantastic. So, so tell me about some of the other offerings. So you have this great set of musicians that are coming, live music there at the Bluegrass on the Town Square there, Americana Showcase. What else we got? We got food. What else?
Yep. In addition to great music, we've got 9 restaurants in and around Town Square, and we're bringing in some extra food trucks. And, if that's not your thing, it's also the town-wide sidewalk sale. So our merchants will all have great deals. And what better way to shop and eat with the backdrop of this, nostalgic, beautiful, quaint Town Square. So you can bring your favorite takeout or get something on Town Square, bring something from home. Bring a blanket and experience the great vibes that, I know well, that you can experience on Town Square.
Yes, absolutely. Very quaint, very historic, something that is family friendly, which that's what this is. How many people are you expecting to come out April 25th and 26th?
Like you said, this is the first of its kind. We usually have several thousand folks on Town Square on any given Saturday, but there's been a lot of buzz around this, and I think the community is really getting behind it. So I hope we see a great crowd. And remember, this is a rain or shine event. So we're watching the forecast. We hope we can be outside, but we do have backup plans. The Morton Museum of Collierville History is just steps away from Town Square. So we'll move inside if we need to, but the music will go on regardless.
Right, and once again, it's a free event and lots of music, lots of food, and that spring sale that's happening on the sidewalks there. Anything else we can touch on? Perhaps if someone wants to learn more about this event, is there a place online where they can get some information, Ashley?
Absolutely. You can follow Town of Collierville's social media, and we have a webpage dedicated to this event, colliervilletn.gov/soundslike. So any rain changes and all the events and bands that we're featuring, you can find on our webpage. And I will say that, Americana music, it's this great blend of rock and country and storytelling. So it's based in nostalgia and tradition, but it's for today. And so all these songs will be very accessible. You will know them. There's covers by Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash. So it's going to be great for the entire family and kind of soak up those awesome vibes that you get on Collierville Town Square.
I love that, and of course that kind of music certainly embedded in our culture here in Memphis, Tennessee, and across the Mid-South. Ashley Carver, thank you so much for joining us, and really look forward to this event. It sounds like a great event. Good luck on it, and we appreciate you coming on the Digital Desk to tell us about it. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a cool party that is happening May 2nd. It is the Troll Garden Party for ages 21 and up at Memphis Botanic Garden. Joining me now to talk about it, Carly Zamora. She is the Adult Education Coordinator at Memphis Botanic Garden in front of one of those big trolls. You know, you think of trolls, you think of these small little things, but they are huge and they are everywhere at Memphis Botanic Garden, aren't they, Carly? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm so happy to join y'all this morning. Yes, we are in front of one of our trolls. I decided we should maybe get a sneak peek at what this party is all about. So, this troll that we're currently in front of, her name is Rosa. Rosa is our upcycling troll. So, as you can see from her really cute card that she has completely ripped out the inside and put a bunch of flowers and plants. And that's one of the things that you'll be able to see at our garden party. We have 6 trolls in total, so we're excited for everyone to see all 6 of them.
So, Carly, can you explain again to our audience about the idea and the purpose behind these trolls? It's about environmental consciousness and sustainability. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our 6 trolls have traveled all this way to be in Memphis with us because they are part of what's known as the Save the Humans Initiative. So the Save the Humans Initiative, like you said, is all about sustainability, your environmental impact, and kind of taking a look at where we as individuals, as humans, kind of play on this planet and how we are tied in with every other portion of life. So where Rosa is talking about taking old materials and recycling or upcycling them, putting plants in them, kind of giving them new life. We have one troll who's all about recycling. We have another troll that's all about relaxation and meditation. So to me, being outside in nature is a different kind of journey for each individual. It's going to look different for everybody. So we've got kind of 6 different trolls showing what 6 different portions of that could be.
I love it. I love it. Great. So this is going to be around until next month. Is that right? And then you got a party going on. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So our trolls are going to be here in Memphis until May 21st. On May 2nd, we have our Troll Garden Party from 6:30 to 8:30. This is a really fun 21 plus event. It's a great time to come out and see the trolls in a very relaxed, fun environment. We'll have a few different food trucks on site. We'll have Good Groceries, Poke Paradise, and Salt Cured Blues. Plus, your ticket gets you 3 free drink tickets that's included in that price. That price is going to be $25 for members, $35 for yet-to-be members. So it's a good bundle. Plus, we'll have some little surprises hidden throughout, maybe some different crafts, activities. Maybe you can take your own plant home. We'll have a little station doing that.
Fantastic. Okay. Anything else we can touch on with regards to the big party at Memphis Botanic Garden, the trolls? It looks like it's a beautiful day. We've had several beautiful days in a row, haven't we?
I know, we've been so lucky since the past rains and everything's been going on. It has been gorgeous outside. We're obviously going to encourage you to come anytime you can. But if you're watching and maybe this kind of party isn't your thing, we also have Troll Fest on May 3rd. It was moved from its rain date in April. It is now May 3rd, and that is a completely family-friendly event. For Troll Fest, like I said, that's going to be May 3rd from 10 to 4. That is where we're going to have a lot of different crafts dealers, art dealers. We'll have different community partners that are coming out to the trolls and talking at tables. So it'll be an additional way if you don't want to just come out and kind of relax, if you want to come out and have some fun with your family, your kids, that's a great event as well we have.
Awesome. Okay. Carly Zamora, we appreciate you and everybody at Memphis Botanic Garden for being a part of one of the great gems of Memphis in the Mid-South. Thank you so much for coming on the digital desk as always. We appreciate it. All right, Andrew Douglas back here in the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to show you this. Sierra Hull is performing at Minglewood Hall in Memphis, April 23rd. 2-time Grammy-nominated artist and songwriter. And guess what? She is joining us right now on the Action News 5 digital desk. Sierra, nice to have you with us. I see you got an instrument. Great to be with you. Yeah, I see you have an instrument in your hand. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what the fans can expect when they come to your show April 23rd. Good morning.
Yeah, well, good morning. I'm so excited to get to come to Memphis. This will only be the second time I've ever actually got to play in Memphis, despite being a Tennessee girl. I grew up in the northern middle part of the state in Byrdstown, Tennessee, and have called Nashville home for a long time. Grew up playing a lot of bluegrass music, hence the mandolin. But yeah, I have a new record, A Tiptoe High Wire, that just came out last month, and so excited to be stopping through Memphis to share a lot of music off this new record.
I love it. I love it. So, so you grew up. I think it's outside of. Is it Clarksville? I think that's kind of where people would
It's
know.
not too far from Cookville, so like an hour
Cookville.
north
That's
of
right.
Cookville, if you know where that is. Yep.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Excellent. Excellent. So, so tell me about some of the experiences. I understand you've played with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan. You played at the Grand Ole Opry, Carnegie. I mean, just kind of give us an update on what it's been like to have this kind of career and a little bit of insight on your journey.
Yeah, well, it's like I got started so young at like 8 years old, signed with Rounder Records when I was about 13, and have been, making records my entire career. This new record is my first independent release, which is kind of exciting. So it definitely feels like a new chapter. So we're touring all of April, sharing a lot of music off of that. And then, of course, you mentioned Willie and Bob. We're actually doing a tour all throughout next month with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and Billy Strings called the Outlaw Tour, which will take us all over the West Coast. So yeah, it's just exciting to be out here. This is all I've ever wanted to do. So to be able to play music as a singer, songwriter, instrumentalist, somebody that grew up rooted in bluegrass, but also, I just love good music. So I find that I'm influenced by all different styles, whether it's playing my own stuff or collaborating with other people. I just absolutely love making music, and so thrilled to be on this journey.
I love it. I love it. So, so you got a little instrument there. We'd love to hear just a little bit.
Oh, all right, yeah, sure.
Excellent, excellent. The Zoom interview isn't the most acoustic, but I can
Oh,
tell
they're probably
you,
like, no, no.
it's going in and out because it's Zoom, and it never cooperates. But but listen, Sierra, we really appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to say to the Memphis folks, people in North Mississippi, Eastern Arkansas, West Tennessee, who may be watching and discovering you for the very first time and are interested in coming to Minglewood Hall, April 23rd?
Well, this will be the first time I've got to come to Minglewood Hall. I think, again, Memphis being such a amazing, part of our state and the history of music from Tennessee that Memphis brings. As a fellow Tennessean, I'm honored to get to come play there. And, like I said, it'll only be the second time I've actually played there, but I love Memphis. Definitely gonna have me some good barbecue and just can't wait. Yeah, so come on out. We're thrilled to get to come back to Memphis.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we're thrilled to have you, Sierra Hall, performing at Minglewood Hall April 23rd. Congratulations on all your success and
Thank
this
you.
new journey with this new album and all these different dates that you have on this new concert tour. Thank you so much for coming on the Digital Desk, and we look forward to seeing you in just a few days. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There are so many opportunities to go walk your dog, whether it's in a neighborhood, around your home, at dog parks. Now that it's spring and it's warming up, it feels amazing outside and it's the perfect time to walk your dog. The problem is when you see these kinds of things and you have your dog going to different areas, being social along with you, respiratory diseases increase as well. And that's why it's so important for pet owners to take proactive steps to keep their pets healthy during this time of year. Let's bring in someone to talk more about this topic. I'm joined now by Dr. Natalie Marks. She's with Merck Animal Health, joining us on the digital desk. Dr. Natalie Marks, good morning to you. Let's talk about what are some key things that pet owners should be mindful of so they can keep their dogs healthy and protected. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, respiratory disease season, as you mentioned, is ramping up for dogs, and we see that peaking between Memorial Day and Labor Day and spiking in July. That might surprise a lot of dog owners out there because for humans, of course, we think of respiratory disease really ramping in the fall and winter. That's why now is the perfect time to talk to your veterinarian about your dog's risk and vaccination options so we can keep them safe and protected from diseases like canine influenza, canine parainfluenza, and Bordetella bronchoseptica. And these are common respiratory illnesses that are transmitted dog to dog or through contaminated surfaces like toys, leashes, and water bowls, or even from secretions from other dogs coughing and sneezing. And we see them easily spread at daycares and kennels, but as you mentioned, just outside on neighborhood walks. So if you're planning travel for the spring break or summer and contemplating boarding your dog, or you're just getting outside more because it's finally getting nicer, so important to talk to your veterinarian about having your dog vaccinated to avoid the spread of these diseases.
So tell me about some of the symptoms with these diseases. There's several you just mentioned. Can you just talk about some of the symptoms and ways to safeguard your dog with these diseases?
Yeah, absolutely. So the big three I mentioned, canine influenza, which is dog flu, canine parainfluenza, Bordetella bronchoseptica. The good news is most of the time these diseases are mild. So we can see things like cough, runny nose, fever, lethargy, or loss of appetite. But that persistent cough is really uncomfortable for your dog. And in severe cases, some of these diseases can progress to pneumonia, which can be life-threatening.
That sounds terrible. So let's talk about where we can get some of the best advice to kind of safeguard and let all those pet owners know, hey, look, this is what you need to do in order to protect your dog.
Yeah, pet parents ask me all the time, how can I protect my dog as much as possible from respiratory disease? The answer is always prevention through vaccination. And two preventative vaccinations from Merck Animal Health that I love and strongly recommend are the Novivac Intratrac Oral BBPI and the Novivac Next Canine Flu H3N2. Let me tell you a little bit about both. So the oral BBPI has two components, BB, Bordetella bronchoseptica, and PI, the canine parainfluenza. These are the two most causative agents of a syndrome most dog owners have heard about, which is kennel cough. And I love this vaccine because it's super comfortable. It's administered orally through an immunomister applicator, and it just allows us to gently mist the back of your dog's throat or mouth. And the nice thing about this, it's a stress-free experience and it's can't miss coverage. The other is the canine flu vaccine, the Next Canine Flu H3N2. And this vaccine is low volume, preservative free. It optimizes protection for your dog against the most common canine influenza virus out there, which is H3N2, without compromising comfort or safety.
Natalie, where can we get more information about this? Is there a place online?
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about the Novivac Intratrac Oral BBPI or the Novivac Next Canine Flu H3N2 or just vaccination options in general for your dog, visit merckanimalhealth.com. And don't forget, please visit your veterinarian and talk about your dog's individual risk and vaccination options so we can keep them as protected as possible this season.
Okay, Dr. Natalie Marks with Merck Animal Health. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Very valuable information for so many people out there. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Got a great day ahead, certainly, and a great week as well. Let's bring in one of our BFFs here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, Talisa Franklin, joining us on her Tuesday slot. Talisa, what's going on with you? How was your Easter?
Oh, my Easter was simply amazing. I had an opportunity to enjoy our children. I had all my nieces and nephews over after church, and when I tell you, Andrew, I had a blast, but boy, was I tired.
That's
But it was
great.
all
That's
worth
great. Yeah, it was a
all worth
wonderful weekend. The weather cooperated. It was just beautiful and such a blessing. What you got going on this week?
Listen, it's always great things happening in Memphis, Tennessee, in the Bluff City. I'm telling y'all, you got to understand, we got it going on here in our great city. This weekend, y'all, I'm super excited to support a walk with a purpose, right? And it's really a great purpose because it is highlighting autism. This month is Autism Awareness Month, and I'm super proud of this young lady that is walking in integrity and making sure she create platforms for people and parents that's dealing with their children, maybe be autistic. Autistic children are so amazing. And so on this Saturday, I'm asking people to join at the Raleigh Springs Civic Center for the Walk with a Purpose Walk-a-thon for Autism Awareness. It starts at 9 o'clock that morning. We want to make sure we get there and we support. You see the information on the screen. Please scan that code and let's come out and support. Even if you don't have a child or you may not know somebody personally that's autistic, listen, just come out and let's support, right? Because we're that village over here in the Bluff City. We love God and we love our village, and our village is taking care of each other. So let's make sure we do that, right? Okay. And then, y'all, listen, there is one of my favorite shows when I was a child was Alice in Wonderland, right? And so Pals is doing a high tea that's happening on in May. And I want to encourage people to make sure they come out and enjoy and also allow us to raise funds for Pals. It is Women in Wonderland. Listen, y'all, let's make sure we get out and support. It's happening on Sunday, May 4th. This is a Memphis M Pals. Shout out to Craig Little and Dorisa Guest is the coordinator. For making sure we have a quality event. We're honoring so many amazing people, y'all. You see it. Senator London Lamar, Chief Davis, so many others. First Lady of Memphis, Tennessee, a Lady Young. There's so many people going to be out there, but I'm excited to see how women's going to join together for us to celebrate each other and just have a great time. And that's happening on Sunday, May 4th. It is happening at the Children's Museum. And no, this is a fundraiser for PALS. We all know PALS is doing extremely great work with our young people, especially in sports and character development. And so we want to make sure we support them and help them. And then I want you to save the date. If you are a community person and you want to have your information out for the Fraser Community Association presents their 2025 Spring Festival. Listen, every year this Spring Festival is an amazing time to connect with your neighbors, connect with your friends, and connect with community partners. So if you are a community partner, I heard you got a few more days to make sure you get your vendor space in, and so that we all can celebrate life together and celebrate Fraser. I'm excited. Y'all know I enjoy the Fraser community, as we call it, is the Bay, right? There's no place like the Bay. So we'll be out there with food trucks, vendors, game trucks for the children, bouncers, carnival rides, entertainment, DJ, games, door prizes, free entry. Listen, you name it, it's happening at the Fraser Community Association Spring Festival. And so we're looking forward to seeing you there. And so there's so many things happening, and that's happening in the top of May, the first Saturday in May. And so we want to make sure you're there, but I want to make sure we give you an opportunity that if you have goods or services and an organization, then you need to have your stuff there. It's going to be great, y'all. Andrew, I'm always loving every single year we do this event. It's always amazing.
Always. And you are amazing too. So I love having you on to talk about all the amazing things happening across Memphis and the Mid-South. Thank you, Talisa. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are such a foodie town here in Memphis and the Mid-South. And when it comes to food, where do you go for pizza? You want to debate somebody? Ask that question. We got on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, we got Ellen Chamberlain, food reporter with Commercial Appeal. And Ellen, I know that you've been talking about this food competition, particularly pizza, in Memphis and the Mid-South. Tell me how it all ended up. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. Memphians love their food, and Memphians are very opinionated about their pizza pie. So we started our March Madness pizza bracket in alignment with that sports ball thing that everybody was watching happening throughout the month. As that has wrapped up, so has our pizza bracket. We are down to the final two. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because I'm curious to know, who would you pick between Aldo's Pizza Pies and Garibaldi's Pizza? Voting is now through Thursday. Who's got your vote?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I like them both for different reasons. Actually, my favorite isn't on this list. It was on the last time we spoke. Chow Baby. That is my favorite. So there's so many good ones. But how long do people have to vote, Ellen?
Absolutely. Voting is going on now through this Thursday at noon. And we'll drop the link in the story that we post to WMC's website. But when you go to the pizza bracket story, you just scroll down. It's like a little survey that you pick. And right now it's very simple because, like Andrew mentioned, we lost some folks in that last round. So sorry to see you go, Chow Baby. But it is down to Aldo's Pizza Pies and Garibaldi. So take your time. You can vote actually up to once per hour. And I am definitely looking on the back end, and I love all of you who actually do that. I appreciate that. But we didn't want to restrict people to having to vote just once a day. So share it with your friends and family. Let people know that the great pizza debate is on, wrapping this Thursday at noon. And then Friday, I'll be publishing a feature story about our winner. So stay tuned to commercialappeal.com for those details. But the next thing I had to talk to you about was the coolest cooking competition I've been to since moving to Memphis about 6 months ago. You are looking at footage of the Grizz Fuel cooking competition. On Friday, they hosted the 5th annual cooking competition with the Grizzlies Foundation in collaboration with Memphis Shelby County Schools. These are high school students you are seeing cooking in a commercial kitchen They're out at the Culinary Institute arm of the University of Memphis in Cordova. And each of these schools represented has their own culinary instructor who works with them, teaches them kitchen etiquette, teaches them the basics, and quite frankly, some of them the advanced techniques of a professional kitchen. So I do want to mention each of the 5 high schools that participated because they were all phenomenal. That was East High School, Kingsbury High, Sheffield High, Southwind High, and Tresvant. I want to give a special shout out to Kingsbury High because they created a chicken cordon bleu meatball, which just kind of blew my mind. And heads up, kids, Miss Ellen is stealing your recipe. I will be making that at home for myself. But the winners this year, he had a nice little repeat. They won last year too. Southwind High. Andrew, children gave me a glazed, pan-fried catfish open-faced po' boy with a slaw that had pomegranate in it. Oh my word. And then they had
Wow.
the cutest little berry crumble dessert. Like, they were incredible. And because they won, their winning dish will now be added to the Memphis Shelby County Schools lunch menu. And
Oh,
students
that's
from all
awesome.
around our district will eat that. Exactly. And those same kids added pot roast to the school's menu last year. So if you want a good meal, I don't know, take your kid to school apparently, because Memphis Shelby County Schools is definitely feeding the kids right, and they're teaching them wonderfully. So again, Southwind High took home the grand prize this year. And I guess we'll wrap it up with, the Wing Guru. Everybody has been talking about the recent arrest of Wing Guru founder and owner Billy Richmond. And while that's absolutely newsworthy, for the past, I don't know, almost 3 months, I've been investigating Richmond and the Wing Guru, speaking to the franchisees directly, trying to figure out exactly what happened. And they had a lot to say, talking about the way that they got brought into this organization, promises that were made and some that were broken. And as many of you watching probably already know, now Billy Richmond is on the hook to some of those franchisees and other folks, like spokespeople like John Morant, for well over $3 million. So that in-depth investigative piece is also available on commercialappeal.com.
Awesome. Ellen Chamberlain, thanks for bringing it and showing us all the great food and food makers across Memphis and the Mid-South. Those kids making that food and now incorporating some of that recipe into the school system. I mean, genius. That is genius. I love it. I love it. Ellen, thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Game Show Network is bringing back a classic. The iconic Tic-Tac-Dough game show is returning, and this time Brooke Burns is hosting. She is joining me right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. So, Brooke, good morning to you. Tell me about Tic-Tac-Dough, and first off, how much did you watch the old show? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Thank you so much for having me. I've always been a big fan of game shows, and specifically with Tic-Tac-Dough. When I was offered the job, I went back. I was watching, when Chuck Berry hosted, and of course Wink Martindale, and I was like, this is so much fun. I just love the idea that it's the first game that you've ever learned when you're a kid, tic-tac-toe, and then adding in trivia, which obviously I love, and then giving away $10,000 to some of the contestants who get to come on the show and play. So it just felt like a right fit for me.
That's fantastic. I'm with you. I watched tic-tac-toe a lot when I was younger, and Wink Martindale is from the Memphis area. He's from here. He just recently passed last week, and so there's more of a connection to us here in Memphis. Tell me what you thought just watching Wink Martindale. I mean, the guy is an icon so much in the game show space.
He is an entertainment icon. I totally forgot about the Memphis connection. And yeah, I mean, obviously my heart just sank when I heard the news of his passing, but I was also so grateful to go back. About 10 years ago, he actually came on the set of The Chase and, came up to me on stage, and we had a beautiful conversation, and we got to sort of connect over our love of game shows, and told me a little bit about his life. And he truly was one of the most authentic and genuine human beings that I've ever met. And so I just hope that I can do everything that I can to step into those giant footsteps and carry on his legacy in this one specific show. Our premiere was the night before his passing. And so I look at it now as I just say my prayers up to Wink and say, just keep guiding us, Wink, and, help us continue this beautiful legacy that you started. So hopefully we can honor him in that way by bringing it back and in having this generation really enjoy a show that he was such a big part of.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Brooke. I have some video of you kind of doing your thing here. Take me through, for our viewers that have never seen it before, take me through tic-tac-toe, how it's going to work, and the $10,000 up for grabs.
Absolutely. We have two contestants, as you can see, who play against each other in, the strategy obviously is to pick the squares where you can mark 3 in a row, whether you're X's or O's. But to do that, you have to answer some trivia questions. The middle square, you have to answer 2, because obviously that's a valuable square. And if you make it to our final round, then obviously there's only one contestant left. And then you're really playing against the clock and our dragon, who's trying to block you from making 3 in a row and taking home the $10,000. So it's very exciting at the end there with the clock ticking down and the dragon chasing you around.
So you mentioned that it debuted recently, and what kind of feedback are you getting?
Pretty good so far. I mean, I try not to, I'm not a big press review reader, just because I feel like from my acting days, you can read people love something, people hate something. You can't believe your own press. I'm a big believer in that. So I sort of go, I do my job, and then I let GSN handle all the rest of it. But from our interviews this morning, I heard that there have been some positive social media buzz around it. And so going into week 2, we're feeling pretty good.
That's smart to not look at any of the, the comments and everything. That is so smart, Brooke. Nice job.
I just go back to being a mom, It's like, I did my job. Now focus over here.
I'm with you 100%, no question about it. So you're someone who is very familiar with people watching game shows, Dog Eat Dog, The Chase, and you've been on TV for years. What makes tic-tac-toe so unique and so special for you, Brooke?
I love every show that I've done. Clearly, you choose it for a reason, and it has a special place in your heart, whether it's the time of life that you're in or the content and quality of the show. I think that obviously the legendary nature of tic-tac-toe and the game show history of it was very appealing to me. The being able to go and shoot 6 shows a day and finish an entire season within a month. I have 3 daughters, but 2 are already gone college, out of the house. And then I have my last one at home who's 8. And so it works for me in my lifestyle right now as well. But honestly, like my GSN family has just been so good to me that I feel like there's not a lot of shows that I would say no to hosting for them. And this one was just so much fun. I knew I was just going to have a ball, and I did, and the contestants did. And so hopefully the audience will feel that authentically and come across on camera.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to say to our audience, maybe perhaps when they can watch it and maybe how they can get involved?
Absolutely. Game Show Network, weekdays at 7. And if you want to come and be a part of the show, yeah, go to gsn.com. And I'm sure if you scroll down, they have when they're casting and doing all of that. But this would be a fun one to come and be a part of. It's not as hard as The Chase or Masterminds. You're not going up against a genius. It's just an adorable little virtual dragon. What could go wrong?
I love it. Brooke Burns on the Action News 5 digital desk. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the newfound success with Tic-Tac-Toe. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. It is 7:57 on a Wednesday. Let's get to some of the top stories here on Action News 5's digital desk. Memphis Shelby County school system avoids a state takeover, at least for now, but a forensic audit is on the way to check for any possible criminal behavior. Lawmakers say the audit is delaying the state oversight of Memphis Shelby County schools. Both the state House and state Senate passed bills to have more oversight of MSCS, but lawmakers could not agree on exact details of how much power to give an oversight board. Sponsors, State Senator Brent Taylor, State Representative Mark White, said the issue will return next year once the audit checks for any wrongdoing within the school district. There are parents on both sides of this issue. Those parents who support a state takeover say taxpayers are not getting their money's worth from a school district spending $2 billion annually to educate about 100,000 students. The deadline to get a real ID is May 7th, a few weeks away. You'll need one or another TSA-approved ID to fly. In Memphis, that's leading to long lines as people rush to beat the clock. At locations like Bartlett Driver Services Center, wait times stretch for hours, with some urging others to prepare for a long day. But you can skip a lot of that line through the e-ticket service that allows you to virtually place yourself in line before arriving at the Tennessee Driver Services Center. We talked to one man who said his wife signed him up on Monday and he was in and out of the door in less than 20 minutes. The 8th annual Mempho Music Festival released its full lineup for later this fall. And the first time, there are 2-day ticket prices. Headliners include Widespread Panic, performing 2 nights, country singer Tyler Childers from Kentucky. Other top names include Charlie Crockett, Flaming Lips, Sierra Farrell, several local Memphis music acts, and much, much more. Organizers are calling this year's lineup a stellar mix of Americana roots, soulful legends, and boundary-pushing innovators. The event is expected to sell out, attracting more than 12,000 concertgoers. 3-day fest set for October 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden. You can find a link to purchase these tickets at actionnews5.com. It's a celebration of champions at Northwest Mississippi Community College, the Senatobia campus, having a special event honoring students, faculty, athletic teams, including multiple national champions, from football to cheer, scholars to standout staff. It is a night to celebrate Northwest excellence. It's happening at 5:30 this afternoon. And if you are one of the millions of people who have defaulted on your student loans, the government will resume collections May 5th. More than 5 million borrowers are currently in default. Collections and payments on default loans were put on hold back in 2020. Now that pandemic era is over and it's back to normal payments. A loan's considered delinquent if a borrower fails to make a payment 90 days after its due date. It's then in default after someone fails to make payment for 270 days, or about 9 months. The Department of Education says to visit its website, set up a monthly payment plan, or you can sign up for getting help in your loan to get it back in good standing. Memphis Grizzlies, they are coming back to the Bluff City 0-2 in their best of 7 series against Oklahoma City in the first round of the NBA playoffs. We got a game coming up tomorrow night. Action News 5 sports director Doc Holliday has an update from Oklahoma City.
Hi, how are you? Doc Holliday. Game 2 for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Oklahoma City Thunder, ending like Game 1 did, although the Beale Street Bears losing Game 2 better than they did in Game 1, but nevertheless, they still lose. The Grizzlies losing by 51 in the first game of this first round Western Conference playoff series, and they lose in the second game 118-99. Jaren Jackson Jr. playing a lot better than he did in Game 1. Jaren with just 4 points, 3 rebounds in Game 1. Game 2 comes out 26 points, being extremely aggressive. Ja Morant had a not typical Ja Morant game, but he still played pretty good. Desmond Bane did what he does, trying to be solid. But sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, some teams are just better than us. And right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder is better than us. Grizzlies.
Ja, what is it about this team? Just seems like they're just so tough to beat.
I don't know. They make shots, play well together.
What you think you all need to do? You know, count because there's 6 games in now. We got 2 more games.
Play defense, take care of the ball, and make shots.
Well, the message to the team was very short. You know, let's get on the plane as soon as possible, and they took care of their business. Now it's time for us to take care of our business at home.
Well, the Beale Street Bears and the Oklahoma City Thunder tipping off their Game 3 at FedEx Forum. 8:30 tomorrow. The Beale Street Bears trying to get back into this series, and a win tomorrow will help them get back in this series. But it's going to be tough because so far through 6 games this season, the Grizzlies 0-6 against the Thunder. But they live to fight another day, and another day is tomorrow, starting at 8:30. In Oklahoma City with Adam Chrysler, Doc Holliday, Action News 5 Sports.
Okay, now let's talk about Grizzlies merchandise that you can get for free today until 9 o'clock. You got about another hour to go to East Parkway and Sam Cooper. After that, Poplar and Highland, that corner from 11 until 1, and then Poplar and the Ridgeway Loop from 4 until 6 in the afternoon. Now let's get an update on our forecast with meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 digital desk here on a Wednesday morning, which features a little bit of fog this morning, clouds as well, but mixing in with some sunshine as we go through the course of the day. Temperatures topping out in the upper 70s, lower 80s, a southeasterly wind. 5 to 10 miles per hour. Though we will have a few passing showers, the best chances will tend to be south of the I-40 corridor here today. More chances for rain and storms on the way as we head through the latter portion of this work week and into the upcoming weekend. Take a look at it with our next couple of days. You see the chances for rain on the stair step upward through Thursday and Friday. The weekend, not terrible, but still a chance both Saturday and Sunday for a little bit of rain. And the coverage goes down as a big ridge of high pressure stoutly moves into the area for early next week. That is going to push the temperatures up in a big way. You'll see that here in the extended forecast. Here's a look at our first alert futurecast. And again, this morning, a few passing showers, a possibility amid the clouds, amid the fog banks. Notice as we get towards the latter half of the morning into the early afternoon hours, a batch of scattered downpours. A few could be heavy, moving across north Mississippi into southwestern portions of Tennessee. I don't think it's going to be widespread. We'll put the rain chances across North Mississippi around 30% or so, up to 40% in a few instances. Other locations, 20-30% opportunities for a few showers. The farther north that you go, up towards Pemiscot, Lake Obion, Dyer County here today, you're probably going to stay dry as we go through the course of the day ahead. And most of the shower and storm opportunities that are able to bubble up here today probably fall apart pretty quickly before sunset. And then we do the whole process over again tomorrow, but more in the tradition of what we would normally see during the summer months. You're going to see the peak heating coming up. We'll start off with some clouds and fog, giving way to some sunshine breaks. Through the afternoon hours, you'll start to see more scattered activity of showers and storms lifting from southwest to north and east, and that will come by way of that boundary lifting northward. Do the whole process over again as the showers and storms fade away after sunset. Get ready for another wave of rain and storms to emerge as we head through the afternoon and evening hours of Friday. One wave moves in during the mid-morning hours. The next one comes in during the afternoon and early evening hours before exiting and getting to a point to where Friday evening we could be a little bit on the clearer side, but we have another boundary dropping southward. Could kick up a few showers for a few folks as we head through Saturday and Sunday. So again, we're not completely out of the woods for the upcoming weekend with some opportunities for some rain both on Saturday and Sunday, but will it be a washout? I do not believe that will be the case. But if you've got outdoor plans, which there are several things that are happening outdoors, probably want to keep an eye to the sky and keep an eye to the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Look at our First Alert Futurecast. This is Friday afternoon and evening. Again, that frontal boundary just kind of wavering around, keeping the weather a bit uncertain. Saturday morning should be on a drier note for most, though there could be a few showers. My friends who are running the 5-10K down at Double Decker on Saturday morning, could be a few showers that morning. A little better chance during the afternoon hours, but still not an overwhelming opportunity. I don't think it's going to be constantly raining through your Saturday nor Sunday for that matter, but there could be a few downpour opportunities on the way during that time frame. As I mentioned, stay up to date with us on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Interactive radar, hour-by-hour forecasts and severe weather alerts. Hopefully we don't have to tangle with that, but this is that time of the year that we could get these storms that flare up, and given enough instability, you could get a thunderstorm that gets a little bit more active, could have some gusty winds, frequent lightning, and torrential rain to come along with it as well. Taking to Friday, the beginning of the Double Decker Arts Festival in Oxford, Mississippi. I think the chances for rain a little more elevated during the early evening hours, tapering off as we head through the evening. So there could be rain to contend with early on your Friday afternoon and early evening hours. Temperatures easing down to the mid-60s by 10 o'clock, and the rain chances will ease down as well. The Hot Wing Festival, that's happening in downtown Memphis. World Wing Festival. Of course, the championships. Go out there and enjoy some hot wings here on your Saturday. Clouds, a couple of showers still possible, okay? Some sun peaks by the afternoon hours, temperatures in the middle and upper 70s. I think we'll top out close to 80. Go into Sunday as we head into your Raging Cajun Crawfish Fest, another big event happening also on Sunday, also downtown. Variably cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Still a chance for a few showers and rumbles of thunder, but I don't think it's going to be a washout. Again, keep an eye to the sky, though. Temperatures in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. As a warm front lifts northward, look what happens to the temperatures. Monday, Tuesday, big surge of warm air comes in here, middle and upper 80s, both on Monday and Tuesday. Another system hot on its heels brings us chances for rain and storms during the afternoon and evening hours of Wednesday into Thursday. That will ease us into the first couple of days of May, and hopefully, you see Friday there, that's the beginning of River Beat. That will happen Friday afternoon, and hopefully the weather will be quiet, dry through the weekend. But we got to keep an eye to the sky again, because there's still a little murkiness in the forecast in the extended range. We're going to keep an eye on things, of course, keep you abreast of any changes. But in the meantime, be prepared. Keep the umbrellas nearby, especially as we head towards Thursday and Friday. A few showers and storms this weekend. Very warm Monday and Tuesday before another round of rain and storms rolls in here by the mid portion of next week.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Cinco de Mayo just right around the corner. Can you believe it? And what better way to celebrate than with great food, great drinks? Joining us now to make a perfect Cinco de Mayo celebration right is chef and TV host Patty Hinich. She is a New York Times best-selling cookbook author. She's the host of TV's Patty's Mexican Table, and she is on the digital desk. So, Patty, where do we begin when we want to have the perfect Cinco de Mayo celebration? Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on. It's really about sharing the culture and the food and making connections. So you can begin by just making really yummy Mexican traditional dishes with high quality, fresh ingredients, inviting friends and family, and just connecting and eating and cooking and eating and cooking. It's just fun and easy.
I love it. I love it. So take us through it, because your table is just looking at your table is making me hungry.
Absolutely. So here I have three dishes that I consider to be showstoppers. The first one is my take on the deviled eggs. And this one I season with two of Mexico's favorite condiments. The creamy topping has chipotle sin adobo sauce, which is smoky and sweet and spicy. And I combine that with pickled jalapenos in brine, which is tangy and zesty and briny. And these just really fly off the plate when I put them down. And then I have these Guerrero style migas, which I think migas should just become much more popular because they're so easy to make. They're tortilla chips that you throw in a pan and cook with freshly scrambled eggs. And for the Guerrero style, it's a guajillo chile sauce that's very simple to make. And then it cooks all together. And you garnish with a little cilantro. You can add a little bit of Mexican crema or queso fresco. It's filling, it's unpretentious, it's festive, it's beautiful and delicious. And you can have that for brunch, for lunch, for a light dinner. And then to end, I have my favorite take on the tres leches cake, which is marbled with dense chocolate and light vanilla and a rich and creamy and delicious three milk sauce, heavy whipped cream on top, and grated Mexican chocolate. I used Eggland's best eggs to make all of these dishes because they're just superior. They have 6 times more vitamin D, they have 10 times more vitamin E, and they have 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. And they just elevate the food and they help me just share and celebrate my heritage.
That's wonderful. So tell me where we can go to get some of these recipes, because it does look amazing what you have on that table, Patty.
You can go to egglandsbest.com and you can find these three recipes: the twice spiced deviled eggs, Guerrero style migas, and marble tres leches cake, and many more recipes to celebrate your Cinco, but really to celebrate your everyday.
Wonderful. Okay, Patty Hinich, we really appreciate you joining us on the digital desk, and have a great Cinco de Mayo celebration.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Happy Cinco.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Well, there is a very popular festival that is coming back to the Bluff City this Sunday. We are talking about the 32nd annual Ragin' Cajun Crawfish Festival, and it's all benefiting Porter Leith. I'm joined right now by Mary Braddock. She is Porter Leith's Director of Communication on the digital desk. Mary, this is one of those festivals people love to attend, love to talk about. Mm-hmm. Tell me how it's going this year. Good morning.
Absolutely. We're ready to go for Sunday, and we keep checking the weather, but I think it's going to be great.
I think it is too, and everything that I've seen says Sunday's going to be a great day for a festival. Perfect. So why do you think this festival is so popular? I mean, obviously people love crawfish in the South, but it's got to be something more than that, right?
You know, springtime is a time for festivals. It's a great way to bring folks into the Mid-South, and this is one way that people can give back while having a really great time. So we'll have 2 stages of music, lots of vendors in addition to the crawfish. So there's a little something for everybody, especially for families coming out.
That's fantastic. I got some video from last year I want to show you here. This is something where it's been going on now for 32 years, Mary. And you mentioned there's something for everyone, very family friendly. Tell me more about some of the other aspects. You mentioned live music, right?
Sure. So we have two stages that are sponsored by Orion and Southland. One features Free World. They've been great partners to come back year after year. They're local. And then we have Dickie Doo and the Zydeco crew coming down from Louisiana, or I should say coming up from Louisiana. So it's the perfect vibe to just really get into that Cajun atmosphere.
Fantastic. And this is on Sunday from 11 to 7 right there on Riverside Drive. What else can we talk about with regards to this festival that we get a chance to have some crawfish and celebrate and listen to some music downtown?
Sure. You know, this festival benefits local children and families. And so we want this festival to echo that, right? So we have a space for children downtown. It's right by the River Garden Park. So there's, you know, some play activities there with a prize wheel. And this year, we're so excited to be celebrating Port Orleans' 175th anniversary. So we have a little special presentation there and a little giveaway for some children to make sure that they go grab that in the afternoon. And of course, all of our games that we have. So we have crawfish racing and bobbing and eating contests throughout the day.
And can you talk a little bit about Port Orleans, because it is such a mainstay here in Memphis and the Memphis community, and it does so much good.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've been around for 175 years. We're so excited to be celebrating that this year. And we've really grown the last several years, but it's all been focused on children and families, particularly those children who are 5 and under. So we provide really high quality preschool services, great education for families and for caregivers. You know, we're making sure that parents, caregivers, families, children have the resources they need to be really successful from the very beginning of their lives.
Okay, Mary Braddock with Port Orleans joining us on the digital desk to talk about the Ragin' Cajun Crawfish Festival this Sunday, April 27th. Going to be a great time, great weather as well downtown. Certainly the 32nd annual, so you guys know how to do it and you know how to do it big. Thank you so much for joining us on the digital desk, and enjoy the Crawfish Festival this Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see you there.
Okay, absolutely. All right, another live look from our High Five camera there in Midtown Memphis. A foggy start to your Wednesday. We'll talk about the forecast and other news in 1 minute. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Spring break isn't just for college students anymore. Travelers are really kind of redefining the season with longer, more immersive getaways, cultural experiences, self-care escapes. Let's talk more about this season, this spring's biggest travel trends with Allie Killam. She's with Airbnb joining us on the digital desk. So tell me, how, Allie, are people rethinking spring break this year? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Airbnb guests are really prioritizing self-care immersing themselves in cultural events and spending quality time with their family and their pets while they're traveling this spring. So compared to last year, searches for trips with pets have increased by 30%. And we're also seeing a rise in solo travel. So we've seen a 90% growth in solo travel searches for spring, which we think is tied to this wider, slow, and soft travel trend. And then with spring breaks in full spring across the schools around the country, we're also seeing that destinations that offer family-friendly events and activities are really trending with guests this spring as well.
So tell me about this solo trend and what's driving it, because I would think, like, when I travel, I want to be with a friend, a family member, somebody to enjoy the experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I think the solo travel trend is really tied into this greater like trend around self-care and travel being one and the same, and just taking time to really unplug, really get to know a destination, and really focus on relaxation, connection, and really taking things slow. So we're seeing this in a couple different ways. So people who are increasingly searching for countryside listings this spring compared to last year, and that might show that travelers are looking for a bit more of an off the beaten path experience this spring. And we're also noticing that people are just spending more time in the places that they're traveling to this spring, and solo travelers especially. They are opting for trips with an average of 17 nights this spring, and family trips are also averaging around 8 nights. So longer trips in general, people are really getting to connect with the destinations they're traveling to. And for guests who are interested in this type of travel, what's great is that more than 2/3 of hosts on Airbnb offer weekly or monthly discounts to make those types of trips a little bit more affordable.
Very cool. So let's talk about some of the destinations that are trending this spring, and maybe share some tips for people wanting to plan some sort of getaway.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of interesting destinations trending this spring, whether they're hosting major events or warm weather beach destinations. But some things we've seen are Basel, Switzerland has made the list, Milan, Italy, Stillwater, Oklahoma has made the list. They're hosting a family weekend at Oklahoma State this spring. And we're also seeing destinations like Gulf Shores, Alabama, and Ubatuba, Brazil trend this spring as well. And then in terms of tips, I always recommend people looking at our redesigned search filters. They can really get specific on what types of amenities you're looking for and finding stays that way. I'd also keep an eye out for quality badges like guest favorites. Those indicate some of the most loved Airbnbs on the platform. And then also just taking a look at the listing reviews before booking. They can really help with setting the expectations of your trip.
Very cool. And what about more information? If people want to kind of get some ideas going, get the juices flowing, where can they go?
Yeah, you can head to Airbnb.com or you can download the Airbnb app.
Okay, Allie Killam, appreciate the time, and happy spring to you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Wednesday morning, which features a little bit of fog this morning, clouds as well, but mixing in with some sunshine as we go through the course of the day. Temperatures topping out in the upper 70s, lower 80s, a southeasterly wind. 5 to 10 miles per hour. Though we will have a few passing showers, the best chances will tend to be south of the I-40 corridor here today. More chances for rain and storms on the way as we head through the latter portion of this work week and into the upcoming weekend. Take a look at it with our next couple of days. You see the chances for rain on the stair step upward through Thursday and Friday. The weekend, not terrible, but still a chance both Saturday and Sunday for a little bit of rain. and the coverage goes down as a big ridge of high pressure stoutly moves into the area for early next week. That is going to push the temperatures up in a big way. You'll see that here in the extended forecast. Here's a look at our first alert futurecast. And again, this morning, a few passing showers, a possibility amid the clouds, amid the fog banks. Notice as we get towards the latter half of the morning into the early afternoon hours, a batch of scattered downpours. A few could be heavy, moving across north Mississippi into southwestern portions of Tennessee. I don't think it's going to be widespread. We'll put the rain chances across North Mississippi around 30% or so, up to 40% in a few instances. Other locations, 20-30% opportunities for a few showers. The farther north that you go, up towards Pemiscot, Lake Obion, Dyer County here today, you're probably going to stay dry as we go through the course of the day ahead. And most of the shower and storm opportunities that are able to bubble up here today probably fall apart pretty quickly before sunset. And then we do the whole process over again tomorrow, but more in the tradition of what we would normally see during the summer months. You're going to see the peak heating coming up. We'll start off with some clouds and fog, giving way to some sunshine breaks. Through the afternoon hours, you'll start to see more scattered activity of showers and storms lifting from southwest to north and east, and that will come by way of that boundary lifting northward. Do the whole process over again as the showers and storms fade away after sunset. Get ready for another wave of rain and storms to emerge as we head through the afternoon and evening hours of Friday. One wave moves in during the mid-morning hours. The next one comes in during the afternoon and early evening hours before exiting and getting to a point to where Friday evening we could be a little bit on the clearer side, but we have another boundary dropping southward. Could kick up a few showers for a few folks as we head through Saturday and Sunday. So again, we're not completely out of the woods for the upcoming weekend with some opportunities for some rain both on Saturday and Sunday, but will it be a washout? I do not believe that will be the case. But if you've got outdoor plans, which there are several things that are happening outdoors, probably want to keep an eye to the sky and keep an eye to the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Look at our First Alert Futurecast. This is Friday afternoon and evening. Again, that frontal boundary just kind of wavering around, keeping the weather a bit uncertain. Saturday morning should be on a drier note for most, though there could be a few showers. My friends who are running the 5-10K down at Double Decker on Saturday morning, could be a few showers that morning. A little better chance during the afternoon hours, but still not an overwhelming opportunity. I don't think it's going to be constantly raining through your Saturday nor Sunday for that matter, but there could be a few downpour opportunities on the way during that time frame. As I mentioned, stay up to date with us on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Interactive radar, hour-by-hour forecasts and severe weather alerts. Hopefully we don't have to tangle with that, but you know, this is that time of the year that we could get these storms that flare up, and given enough instability, you could get a thunderstorm that gets a little bit more active, could have some gusty winds, frequent lightning, and torrential rain to come along with it as well. Taking to Friday, the beginning of the Double Decker Arts Festival in Oxford, Mississippi. I think the chances for rain a little more elevated during the early evening hours, tapering off as we head through the evening. So there could be rain to contend with early on your Friday afternoon and early evening hours. Temperatures easing down to the mid-60s by 10 o'clock, and the rain chances will ease down as well. The Hot Wing Festival, that's happening in downtown Memphis. World Wing Festival. Of course, the championships. Go out there and enjoy some hot wings here on your Saturday. Clouds, a couple of showers still possible, okay? Some sun peaks by the afternoon hours, temperatures in the middle and upper 70s. I think we'll top out close to 80. Go into Sunday as we head into your Raging Cajun Crawfish Fest, another big event happening also on Sunday, also downtown. Variably cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Still a chance for a few showers and rumbles of thunder, but I don't think it's going to be a washout. Again, keep an eye to the sky, though. Temperatures in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. As a warm front lifts northward, look what happens to the temperatures. Monday, Tuesday, big surge of warm air comes in here, middle and upper 80s, both on Monday and Tuesday. Another system hot on its heels brings us chances for rain and storms during the afternoon and evening hours of Wednesday into Thursday. That will ease us into the first couple of days of May, and hopefully, you see Friday there, that's the beginning of River Beat. That will happen Friday afternoon, and hopefully the weather will be quiet, dry through the weekend. But we're going to keep an eye to the sky again because there's still a little murkiness in the forecast in the extended range. We're going to keep an eye on things, of course, keep you abreast of any changes. But in the meantime, be prepared. Keep the umbrellas nearby, especially as we head towards Thursday and Friday. A few showers and storms this weekend. Very warm Monday and Tuesday before another round of rain and storms rolls in here by the mid portion of next week.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, chances are perhaps you or maybe a family member has struggled with addiction when it comes to your phone. And when I talk about your phone, I'm talking specifically social media. It can affect everything. It can affect all parts of your life, your mental health, your relationships with others, your overall well-being. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I want to do a little bit of a deep dive here on social media addiction. I am joined right now on the Digital Desk by University of Missouri alum, former Laker girl, someone who admittedly had struggles with social media. I'm proud to bring on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, Teague Dooley-Panko, and she is someone who really struggled with social media and has written a book about ways to detox from social media. Teague, it's good to have you on the Digital Desk. So first, tell me about your relationship with social media and when did it go south? Good morning.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And this is such an important conversation, so I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to chat about it. Social media has been in my life for years, but I really noticed that it got bad when I was a Laker girl, as you mentioned. And when I stopped my time as a Laker girl, I really noticed, first of all, I had a total identity crisis to begin with. And then when it came to social media, I started thinking, wait a second, do people even care what I post anymore? Do people care if I, why are people following me on social media? And then I had a real, come to Jesus moment where I realized I was addicted to this validation of social media and these likes and curating a perfect feed. And I'm a perfectionist already. So adding social media as fuel to the fire to that issue was a dangerous combination. So I realized I was addicted. I had a dependency on social media and I was spending so much time on it. I was waking up, looking at my social media feed. I would go to work, look at my social media feed. At the end of the day, I would come home, look at my social media feed. And at a certain point, I almost felt like I was hovering above my body because I was so addicted to looking at these platforms and not even living my life. And so, yeah, that's when I noticed I had a problem. And
Yeah.
I said, I have to do something about it. So that's when I came up with this idea of the social media detox. And
Right.
yeah, and so I started talking to a lot of professionals, a lot of people that are way smarter than me, doctors, therapists, academic leaders, and we kind of came up with this product, which is a 14-day social media detox. Every day we talk about different triggers of social media, and then there's different challenges, light reading, and an evening journal prompt. So at the end of the 14 days, yeah, hopefully you'll
I was
feel
just-
less dependent.
Yeah. So I was going to jump in a little bit, Teague, and just ask you a little bit about it. So I know that you interviewed a ton of professionals for this social media detox. Tell me, what is the reason, and feel free to weigh in your own opinion, why do you think people, because your story is not uncommon, I can guarantee it, why do you think people are so addicted to social media? Is it the endorphins? Is it the notifications? What are those health professionals telling you?
Well, there's absolutely a link to dopamine. And especially, these social media platforms are made like a slot machine, right? So you're always just looking for that next best thing. It's a never-ending scroll to find something that excites you and gets your dopamine going. Whether that's, feeling jealous or feeling the fear of being left out, FOMO. You're always looking for something to make you feel something, whether it's good or bad or whatever. And so, yeah, we talked a lot about dopamine and the way that social media really feeds into that. And so that's one of the things that I thought was really interesting. There's also a concept called anhedonia, which is that feeling of addiction that is sometimes referred to when people are talking about substance abuse. But basically, it's this idea of being so addicted to something that you no longer feel excited about living life in the real world. And I feel like I am guilty of feeling that when it comes to social media. I spend so much time on social media. Getting out in the real world feels less appealing because it's like I have everything I need at my fingertips. It's this idea of feeling social, but you're not really being social. You feel it's this like it's this very strange phenomenon. So yes, yeah, there's a
So
lot of science to it.
Yeah. Okay, so Teague, let me ask you this because we have thousands of people that watch us here on the digital desk. If there are warning signs, if you could name maybe 2 or 3 warning signs that you would give to someone that says, okay, wait a second, you have an addiction to social media, what would be those warning signs? Name like 2 or 3.
I think there are a few. One is waking up and feeling that compulsion, feeling compelled to reach for your phone right away. Same thing with like going to bed if you don't feel like you can go to bed without scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. And I get it. I've done the same thing. But having that compulsion, I think that's the first step, just knowing like, oh wait, why am I reaching for this? And so a lot of the social media detox is just like being more mindful and like realizing, oh, why am I opening my phone? Do I need to answer something? Do I need to look at an email or a DM or whatever? Or am I just looking at it to feel something? And I think that that's where I think if we can start becoming more mindful, that is really helpful. But yeah, I think it's just that compulsion and not wanting to do things in the real world. I think that's another sign. Like if I am, instead of going out with my friends, actually what sounds more fun is scrolling on TikTok, that's a problem too. I think there are signs like if I don't want to, that actual interaction in the world is, that's a sign.
Yeah, I get it. So listen, I don't
Yeah.
want to give the whole book away, Teague, but if you could give us some ideas, take me through this 14-day detox program.
Absolutely, Andrew. Okay, my first day is actually one of my favorite days to talk about. It talks about phone proximity. So day 1 talks all about the idea of having your phone in your sight line, in your eye line during the day actually subconsciously tricks your brain into thinking about your phone, which I think is really interesting. So the first challenge on day 1 is putting that phone out of sight. So putting that phone in a bag or maybe in a drawer. And obviously some people have different jobs, they need it closer. I'm sure you can't put your phone in a drawer. But it's the idea of putting that phone out of your immediate eye line, and that really affects the way that you think subconsciously. So it helps you focus better, it helps you get things done, it helps you just not be subconsciously thinking about that phone. And I think that also can be applicable to when you go to bed at night. I started when I did the detox, and now I still have kept this habit. I put my phone in another room while I'm sleeping, and I have an alarm clock, just bought a little alarm clock online. And so as a result, I don't look at my phone until probably 30 minutes or an hour into my day, because the only thing I needed it for in the morning was that alarm. But prior to doing the detox, I was looking at my phone first thing in the morning, and then immediately it's just too easy to be like, let me just really quickly check Instagram. Let me just really quickly check my email. But there's a lot of science and studies that suggest that if you wake up in the morning and immediately, expose yourself to news or stressful things like that, emails and Instagram or things like that, it's bad for your sleep, it's bad for your mental health, and then the whole day you're thinking about things that you looked at the first thing when you woke up. So
I love it.
yeah,
I
phone
love it.
proximity, is one of my
Okay.
favorite ones. That's day 1.
Okay, and then give me one other point that's good, because I love the idea of the phone just being out of sight, out of because a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. You're not going to see it, therefore you don't think about it.
Totally, absolutely. Well, another day that I'm really proud of and I'm really excited about is, of course, FOMO is something we've heard about for years, this fear of missing out. And so that's one of the days. And then the challenge that day is to start making social plans. So start making real plans with people who you haven't seen in a while. And, one thing you'll notice if you do the social media detox is you have way more time to do things and to make plans than you realized when you were on social media. So that's one of the days is reaching out to people who you haven't seen in a while, who you've been like, oh, let's get lunch. And then you kick it down the road. We've all done that. So it's like really reaching out to those people, making plans. There's even a bonus challenge, which is to go buy tickets to an event or maybe something you want to do, maybe a show a few months in advance. And then you don't have to have someone lined up to go with you, but just having that plan in your calendar, first of all, is exciting and creates serotonin. And we know that that's really good for your brain, is to anticipate fun stuff. But then also it challenges you in the future to say, hey, I've got 2 tickets to this thing. And then it gives you an excuse to reach out to friends and say, hey, I bought tickets to this event, this show, this concert, I'd love to take you. And then that just kind of gets you out in the real world. And then instead of these feelings of feeling left out or feeling, missing out, you are making plans in the real world, and then you don't focus on that as much. So yeah, that's another day that I'm really excited about.
I love it, Teague. And again, it is the social media detox written by Teague Dooley-Pankow, joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Teague, I'll give you the final word here. What is the underlying theme you'd like our audience to know about what you went through, the struggles with social media addiction, and how to break free?
Yeah, I think the underlying thing is that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I think we've all kind of been just thrown into this world of digital media and social media and our phones. I mean, even from 10 years ago, our life looks so different. And I think we all were thrown into it without really knowing what the consequences were. I think now we have a lot more science and a lot more research is coming out about how it is affecting us. And I think that, now finally we're starting to have conversations about it. And that's why I feel very lucky to be working in this space, to have created the digital media detox, the social media detox, because I just feel like at least if we can start talking about it, we can all realize we're in this together. There are solutions. There are ways to feel better and feel less dependent on these digital devices, because for a while it felt like they were taking over. But I feel like it's time for us to take our power back.
Amen, Teague. Thank you so much. And people can buy your book on Amazon and other platforms?
Yes, it will be officially published on Amazon on February 18th. So I'm very excited about that. And it'll be great. We also have a podcast that we're doing. So all the doctors and the brain surgeons that we interviewed, that will also be online as well. So yeah, we're really excited about it.
All right, Teague Dooley-Pankow, very important conversation to talk about with how to break free from our social media addictions out there. We really appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Keenan, good morning. It's Andrew Douglas. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Andrew. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Can you tilt the camera down just a smidge?
How's that?
Okay. Yeah, much better, much better. Okay, we're about 29 seconds away.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for having me, too. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, all good, all good. All right, good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. I'm sure you are very well familiar with this friendly face. We are talking about the celebrity Peabody Hotel Duckmaster, Keenan Walker. He's got one of the most unique jobs in all of the country, and he is delighting fans from all over the world right here in Memphis at the South's Grand Hotel, the Peabody Hotel. Well, guess what? Keenan is quite the actor these days, and he is starring in a movie that was filmed in Memphis. To talk about that and much, much more, he is joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Keenan, how are you this morning?
Man, I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you being on. So tell us First off, tell us about being a duck master. You've been a duck master now for several years. How's that going? And how did this opportunity come about for you to be in this movie that was filmed in Memphis? Tell us about that as well.
Well, I've been an actor since I was 13. I've been acting in Memphis since 2000 actually since 1999. So I've been an actor for quite a while. But then I was an actor who was blessed to become the Peabody Duck Master. So I guess it's safe to say I'm an actor of one of the most unique jobs in the world. But my acting never stopped. But more doors opened after becoming Duck Master. So a few years ago, I crossed paths with a director named Jerron Lockridge, who is stationed out of Jackson, Tennessee. And I continued to do work with him, and this work just continued to grow and grow. And this is my fifth project with him. And he wrote this film with me in mind, so I was blessed with that opportunity. And now it comes out May 6th, Betray Thirst, romance thriller that I think is really going to blow people's minds.
Well, we have a little snippet here that we're showing our audience. And again, as you mentioned, the new film is called Betray Thirst with director Jerron Lockridge. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Jerron Lockridge, he has a number of movies that he's done. One called The Sticks, another one called Cubic Zirconia, which I'm always in, which I'm in as well. But he created an anthology series called Betray. And the first movie, Betray, is already out. It came out last year. That's available on all streaming platforms. And they're movies that have to do with betrayal in relationships. So the first Betray had to do with a wife who became bored with her relationship and decided to step outside of that relationship and the dynamics that happen around that. This one is the second installment in the Betray anthology. It's called Betray Thirst. And I star as a lawyer named Jamal Wiggins, who is a happily married man who owns a law practice with his best friend. And things in his relationship have seemed to have fizzled. But he is a loving husband. But one day a client crosses his path, named Jada, who's played brilliantly by an awesome actor named Bree Hassan. And she was seeking compensation for her husband, who was injured in a firefighting accident. And the husband is kind of abusive. And Jamal seems to be the only person who shows concern for her well-being. So as he continues to have a concern for her well-being, a bond is made. And then from that point, let us have to watch and see what happens.
I gotcha. So how is this series? You mentioned this is an installment of a series that's already out. How has it been received so far, and what do you expect when this one comes out next month?
Well, we had the red carpet premiere at the Malco Studio on the Square on April 17th, and it was received amazingly. The crowd loved it. The reviews on IMDb have all been 10 so far. I think this is a conversation piece, and this is a perfect movie to watch with your spouse, your significant others. It's a perfect movie to watch with friends, female friends, male friends, because I think it's going to leave people in a place where after they see this story, they'll wonder, okay, who was right? Who was wrong? Who should have done something differently? How could this have been changed? And that's the whole purpose behind the Betray series, is to start a conversation, not necessarily to point blame or to villainize anybody, but to put you in a position where you ask yourself, what would you do if you were in this situation? Realistically, what would you have done? And I think Jerron just perfectly captured the essence of that in not only the first Betray, but also in this one. I think when people get done watching this, one, they'll be entertained because it's, like I said, it's a romance thriller, but it's got comedic elements as well. Now, Everett Anderson, who plays Darren, who is Jamal's business partner in the law firm, he is hilarious in the movie. So the film has comic relief, but also dramatic elements, and then some thrilling elements too. But when it's over, I think that people will still be talking about it, and it'll definitely engage in a conversation. It'll kind of spark a conversation of what would you do if you were in that same situation.
So let me ask you this. Are there other local talent actors in there as well? And do we see places in Memphis that we might find familiar?
Well, yes, there is some other local talent. Jay Johnson, who is an accomplished actor in the city in theater and in film. She plays my wife. Bree Hassan, who I mentioned, plays Jada. Everett Anderson, who you may have seen in The Sticks and a few other projects. He's in the film as well. But this movie was filmed in Memphis, Jackson, Nashville, in Bolivar, Tennessee. So the cigar bar down in Midtown. You know, what I mean, you will see that in the film, but the film was filmed in multiple locations. So you'll see, Nashville, you'll see Jackson, you'll see Memphis. So we hit the road with this film, but I think people will be blown away by what they see.
Excellent, excellent, Keenan. Final thing, how can people check it out when it comes out?
The film will officially be out May 6th on Amazon Prime, on Apple TV, on Plex, and then on other streaming film sites. It'll be available to rent or to buy. And again, I think people are going to have a great time with this. It's definitely it's an adult thriller. I mean, so it's not the Peabody Duckmaster in the movie. I don't want people to get it mistaken that this is the Duckmaster playing, the Duckmaster in the movie. This is Keenan Walker, the actor, who is the Peabody Duckmaster, but playing Jamal Wiggins. So it's two totally separate things. But I think, once you put the kids to bed, the adults are going to have a good time with this one. But it's very tasty.
All right.
You know what I mean? So it's a good time.
All right. Keenan Walker on the digital desk talking about all the things he's involved with, including a new film set to debut in Memphis and across the Mid-South. We appreciate your time, Keenan, on the digital desk. Congratulations on all the success you've had, both as a Duckmaster, as an actor, and beyond. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. All right. Another live look from our High Five camera in downtown Memphis. Still foggy out there. We'll be talking more about the forecast and other news on Action News 5's digital desk in 1 minute. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There's a question out there that many people ask. Who pays when Memphis police work special events, be it a concert, a Grizzlies game, some other kind of special event? Who pays that bill? Is it MPD? Is it the entity or organization, or is it taxpayers? Let's bring in our friend Sam Hardiman with the Daily Memphian. He covers a number of different issues downtown, the government reporter and City Hall. He spends a lot of time in, and he asked that question. In fact, it was the latest piece that he and his colleagues at the Daily Memphian have revealed. And, Sam, good morning to you. I guess would be an assumption that the entity or the organization that is having that special event would pay the bulk of it. But based upon your investigation, that's not entirely true, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks, Andrew, for having me on. It appears that MPD is not actually very good at billing the entities that receive special event security. So first, you can find this article at thedailymemphian.com, or dailymemphian.com, I'm sorry. And, what we really found is MPD last year, and this is calendar year 2024, so we only have 1 year of data. This has obviously been going on for decades, right? And MPD just didn't start working special events yesterday. And so what is really interesting about that is in that 1 year data, there's a whole, you can give the figure from the article, but there's a whole number of events and percentage of the $1.3 million in MPD overtime. MPD isn't even billing the entity for. They're just eating the cost, which means taxpayers are eating the cost. And so while $1.3 million is not very much in a $300+ million MPD budget where they budget $32 million for overtime, every little bit counts, and every little dollar that comes back to MPD from an entity is money that taxpayers can have in services somewhere else.
How much are taxpayers on are footing the bill? I mean, how much are they on this account here? I mean, when it comes to, let's just say 2024.
2024, it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. MPD, I think, collected a little more than I think 400 grand. Check the article. My brain is a little foggy this morning. In terms of payments from those entities, so really, it's almost $1 million last year that MPD just ate, which means taxpayers just ate for special events, and a lot of the money that's getting eaten is sporting events and concerts, and so that means really a lot of downtown man hours are not being paid for by the entities that need the security. And there's obviously this argument maybe that this is economic growth, this is economic impact, etc. But this is a decent amount of money that's getting eaten by taxpayers here.
Man, and it seems based upon your article, Sam, that even MPD admits, hey, listen, we need a better better policy when it comes to this stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me? Or did I just mute myself?
Yes. No, I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. MPD, the presentation we obtained at the Daily Memphian, makes very clear that MPD is looking for a better policy. They've been facing pressure from the Memphis City Council recently, who has taken a real shine to the MPD budget and the overtime budget. And MPD in this presentation concluded essentially saying we need a clear policy so that when we actually send bills to people, because a big part of this is it's just bills not even being sent to the entities, right? This isn't just, people aren't paying. It is MPD is not sending. And then the department also wants a clear collections process, meaning like, okay, we've sent an invoice. Here's how we actually get paid for that invoice, which is something private business does every day.
Yeah. Wow. That is infuriating to, I'm sure, a number of different taxpayers there. That it's just a matter of billing that entity and going through, I guess, the collection process. You mentioned earlier that it's Memphis City Council that is shining a light on MPD's budget. Do you expect this or anticipate it coming up sometime soon, in particular for the budget season?
Absolutely. I mean, the Memphis City Council is going to set the budget tomorrow. Not set the budget, I'm sorry. Everyone calm down. They're going to set their hearings for the budget tomorrow, which means we'll actually have a process as to how taxpayer money is going to get allocated this year. And I would expect when MPD comes before the council, which will be a long, dry meeting sometime in April or early May, we are going to see some real scrutiny of this, because there was some scrutiny almost a month ago when the last time the Memphis City Council met, which was in mid-February. Had quite the long break here. And we'll definitely see something about this. I've heard from council people this morning. I'm not going to say who, but I've definitely heard from several this morning who read the article and were like, wow, we're going to be talking about this. And so it definitely is going to happen, because every little, again, this is not a large amount of money in terms of an $800 million city budget, a $300 million MPD budget, or even the overtime budget. But when, it costs, say, $1 million, $500,000 to resurface the playground, right? And MPD is, eating $800,000, $900,000 for the overtime every year. Well, if they're not eating that overtime, right, maybe that playground gets paid for with a certain amount of money that isn't debt or something like that, or services that MPD, needs, for example, whether it's uniforms, whether it's, bullets, whether it's, anything that can be paid for by this money. And so every dollar saved is another dollar in taxpayer services. And that's really important.
No question about it, and also just it's so frustrating that it's not working out the way that it's supposed to, I guess. Anything else you want to mention to our viewers that are watching right now?
No, I understand the frustration, Andrew. I think this is, and I'm not going to try to editorialize here, but I think Memphis as an entity, and I'm talking about the government, not the people, but the government as an entity is starting to wise up. And I'm not saying they weren't wise before. They're starting to wise up and really count the pennies where they can, because pennies add up. And I think looking forward, that's a good thing for taxpayers. The fact that this information is out there is a good thing for taxpayers. And so that's what I would say. And please continue to read our work and support the Daily Memphian. We take donations. We are a nonprofit.
Sam Hardiman, always doing great work at the Daily Memphian, covering government and politics. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good morning. It is 9:01 on a Wednesday morning. We got some headlines we'd like to get to here on Action News 5's digital desk. The Memphis-Shelby County school system avoided a state takeover, at least for now, but a forensic audit is on the way to check for any possible criminal behavior. Lawmakers say the audit is delaying the state oversight of Memphis-Shelby County schools. Both the state House and state Senate passed bills to have more oversight of MSCS, but lawmakers could not agree on details of how much power to give an oversight board. Sponsors, State Senator Brent Taylor, State Representative Mark White, say the issue will return next year once the audit checks for any wrongdoing within the school districts. There are parents on both sides of this issue. Those parents who support a state takeover say taxpayers are not getting their money's worth from a district spending $2 billion annually to educate about 100,000 students. The deadline to get a real ID is May 7th, a few weeks away. You'll need one or another TSA-approved ID to fly. In Memphis, it's leading to some long lines as people rush to beat the clock. At locations like the Bartlett Driver Services Center, wait times stretch for hours, with some urging others to prepare for a long day. There is a program that can help you skip the line. It's called e-ticket. It allows you to virtually place yourself in line before arriving at the Tennessee Driver Services Center. One man said his wife signed him up on Monday and he was in and out of the door in less than 20 minutes. The 8th annual Mempho Music Festival released its full lineup for later this year. First time there's 2-day ticket prices. Headliners include Widespread Panic performing 2 nights and country singer Tyler Childers from Kentucky. Other top names include Charlie Crockett, Flaming Lips, Sierra Farrell, several local music acts from Memphis, and much, much more. Organizers are calling this year's lineup a stellar mix of Americana roots, soulful legends, and boundary-pushing innovators. The event is expected to sell out, attracting more than 12,000 concert goers. A 3-day festival set for October 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Radiance Amphitheater in Memphis at the Memphis Botanic Garden. You can find a link to purchase tickets on actionnews5.com. It is a celebration of champions at Northwest Mississippi Community College. The Senatobia campus is having a special event honoring top students, faculty, and athletic teams, including multiple national champions from football to cheer to scholars and standout staff. It's a night to celebrate Northwest Mississippi Community College. It's happening at 5:30 this afternoon. If you're one of millions of people who have defaulted on your student loans, the government will resume collections May 5th. More than 5 million borrowers are currently in default. Collections and payments on default loans were put on hold in 2020, but now the pandemic-era programs are over and it's back to normal for payments. A loan is considered delinquent if a borrower fails to make a payment 90 days after its due date. Then it's in default after someone fails to make a payment for 270 days or 9 months. The Department of Education says visit the website. You can send up a monthly plan or you can sign up to get your loan back in good standing. All right, the Memphis Grizzlies had a tough time once again last night. They come back to the Bluff City 0-2 in this best-of-7 series against the top seed Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA playoffs. Action News 5 Sports Director Doc Holliday was in Oklahoma City. He has this update.
Hi, how are you? Doc Holliday. Game 2 for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Oklahoma City Thunder, ending like Game 1 did, although the Beale Street Bears losing Game 2 better than they did in Game 1, but nevertheless, they still lose. The Grizzlies losing by 51 in the first game of this first-round Western Conference playoff series, and they lose in the second game, 118-99. Jaren Jackson Jr. playing a lot better than he did in Game 1. Jaren with just 4 points, 3 rebounds in Game 1. Game 2 comes out, 26 points, being extremely aggressive. Ja Morant had a not typical Ja Morant game, but he still played pretty good. Desmond Bane did what he does, trying to be solid. But sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, some teams are just better than us. And right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder is better than us. Grizzlies.
Ja, what is it about this team? Just seems like they're just so tough to beat.
I don't know. They make shots, play well together.
What you think you all need to do? You know, count because there's 6 games in. Now we got 2 more games.
Play defense, take care of the ball, and make shots.
Well, the message to the team was very short. You know, let's get on the plane as soon as possible, and they took care of their business. Now it's time for us to take care of our business at home.
Well, the Beale Street Bears and the Oklahoma City Thunder tipping off their Game 3 at FedEx Forum, 8:30 tomorrow. The Beale Street Bears trying to get back into this series, and a win tomorrow will help them get back in this series. But it's going to be tough because so far through 6 games this season, the Grizzlies 0-6 against the Thunder. But they live to fight another day, and another day is tomorrow, starting at 8:30. In Oklahoma City with Adam Chrysler, Doc Holliday, Action News 5 Sports.
Okay, so if you want some Grizzlies merchandise, you can pick some up at Poplar and Highland from 11 to 1 and Poplar and the Ridgeway Loop from 4 until 6 o'clock this evening. Another live look from our High Five camera here in downtown Memphis. As we go to break, we're back at 60 seconds. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to show you this. This is the Orion Free Concert Series that was just announced a short time ago, at least the first leg of the free concert series. And I want to bring in our BFF at the Overton Park, Shell. We got Shelby Smith joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Shelby, this wonderful concert series, free for everybody, looks amazing. And this is only the first leg. So tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I love that we're best friends now. I am honored. But truly, it is so incredible that we can do this year after year. You know, music and accessibility to the arts, it's quite literally embedded in the foundation of what we do here at the Overton Park Shell. So we're back in action starting in May, and that's so soon. We're just a couple weeks away from the first concert. It seems kind of crazy for that to even be happening, but we're really excited, and we feel like we've got such a diverse range of artists. We've got hip hop, we've got, you know, classical music, we have got some groovy country, soul, blues, like just incredible genres. And of course, we have some amazing partnerships. Thankful for Orion Financial and what they have done for us over these last few years, and just their support for the arts and culture scene in this city. And Memphis Presents, what they do for us just to kind of, you know, sustain our programming. Those partnerships are so valuable, but we're bringing back some of these incredible acts that we've had in the past with our partnership with Stax Music Academy and the Memphis Symphony Orchestra and Dreamfest. We're just super excited to welcome people back to the lawn for a great summer.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a great summer. So much live music happening all across Memphis and the Mid-South. I love it. And this is a free concert series that people don't know about. And this is the first leg of it. Tell us, like, the beginnings of it. And then, you know, this is going to last, you know, throughout the summer and then into the fall, right?
Absolutely. So we just announced the first leg of it. So don't worry, we will be back in the fall. We just take a little bit of a break around the end of June/July, just because it gets a little too hot for people to be on the lawn. We want to make sure our artists and our patrons are so safe. But we kick off at the end of May with our first few concerts, go until the end of June, and then we'll be back in August. And again, all of these are free shows. So you can bring your family, bring your friends, bring out-of-towners so they can really experience the magic of the Overton Park Shell. You can bring your dogs if you want to. You can bring a cooler so you can have your own food. We just want everybody to really enjoy themselves, soak in the summer breezes, and just get together for a great few months of music. And our summer or our fall lineup will be coming out July 7th. So make sure to go ahead and plug that date in your calendar and be on the lookout for who we're bringing in for the second leg of this series.
Fantastic. And tell our audience where people can go to see in depth, in detail